Paul Young, and every time you go away, this is BBC Radio Oxford's afternoon show. Music from Coldplay, Michael Bolton, Billy Joel, all coming up between now and 2 o'clock. And working out how you can manage your stress this afternoon, George Anderson's with us once again in the studio, talking a little bit about physical activity, talking a little bit about how hormones will attach themselves to you and not let go, but various techniques, as you were describing as well, of how you can redress this balance, because once you've got the balance, that's pretty much the key, isn't it? Yeah, balance is the key. It's not about living a totally virtuous life and giving up everything that you enjoy doing, but it's about getting that balance and, like I said, just acknowledging that stress is a natural part of our lives, and we just need to be able to deal with it and manage it and not let it take over. And when our mums and dads told us to go to bed early because we'd feel better for it in the morning, they were right as well. My mum always used to say that, yeah, 2 hours before midnight is worth 4 hours afterwards. I say, yeah, whatever, mum. But actually, it really is. It really is. So she was right after all. I'm going to send her a little clip. Send that to your family at least and revisit that. Let's find out a little bit more about more techniques of stress management as well. Rhiannon Griffiths from Tame joins us now. Rhiannon, acupuncture is an interesting one because I know lots of people that absolutely swear by it and they say their lives have been changed by it, and there are still people who aren't quite sure how it all works. So set the record straight.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So what is acupuncture? Lots of people still aren't really aware of what it is. Acupuncture uses very thin needles to affect the chi or energy flow within the body. So when we talk about energy, we've all had those days where our energy is abundant and overflowing and we get everything done that we need to do, as well as those days when we can feel exhausted and like there's nothing left in the tank. And this is the energy that we work with in the treatment room.
Now, it's an ancient medicine, so surely the societies that were dealing with acupuncture in the earliest of days had no idea of the type of stress levels that we live in and live amongst in today's society. How does it work?
Absolutely no. The ancient Chinese didn't know about hormones or any of the other things that George has been talking about today. But acupuncture works regulating the balance of energy within our body. So it either nourishes and tops up depleted energy that might be leaving us susceptible to the influences of stress, or it can move stuck energy that might be causing pain or indeed raising our stress levels. Acupuncture is also very relaxing as a treatment as a whole, so it's often the only time that patients allow their bodies to actually stop. So the mind and body are encouraged to relax, and actually many patients do drop off to sleep during the treatment as it is so relaxing.
We've been talking about weight gain and weight loss as well in relation to stress this afternoon. So can acupuncture have an effect on physical symptoms of stress such as weight gain?
Absolutely. Many physical symptoms of stress can include muscle tension, irritable bowel, bloating, nausea, even migraine. But as George mentioned earlier, the hormones that are involved in the stress response, that fight or flight mechanism, it can make that more difficult to shift, as well as causing adrenal fatigue, which I see a lot in the treatment room. It can make patients feel exhausted and as though they've got nothing left in the tank, they're running on empty. Acupuncture works well with hormones as it's a very regulating, harmonizing and balancing treatment. And also, as George said, balance really is the key for hormones.
Now, what about emotional elements? Because I know that on occasion I have, and pretty much I think every woman at least you speak to will say in moments of stress there is a desire to comfort eat, which obviously then begins a cycle of weight gain as well. So emotional stress, is acupuncture helpful there?
Yeah, acupuncture and Chinese medicine generally definitely recognise the impact of our emotions on our overall health. Emotional signs such as feeling tearful or overwhelmed, worried or depressed may be linked to stress levels and, of course, reaching for the cookie jar. In Chinese medicine, these emotions are often indications that the body needs boosting or nourishing. So that's why we tend to reach for something that will nourish us, but not on a particularly good level. So acupuncture points will be chosen to do this on an energetic level, and these points are chosen to suit the individual patient themselves. And this is also where kind of the emotional and physical stress can actually overlap. So if we're irritated or frustrated or emotionally stressed out, the jaw can clench, the neck stiffens, and the shoulders tighten as well. So the beauty of acupuncture being a holistic treatment is it kind of treats both emotional and physical aspects at the same time. We're never just treating one or the other separately.
George, looking at identifying stress, how easy is it for people to actually take control of it for themselves? More often than not, everybody around you knows you're under pressure, and you're quite often the last to know. Do you see that with clients coming to you?
Yeah, I think actually, funnily enough, men more than women, and perhaps that's just a symptom of, we like to feel that as guys, we like to feel we can control it, we can handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, we don't need any help. So yeah, that's definitely a problem, is understanding and recognising symptoms of stress and overwork. I mean, personally, I know when I'm pushing myself too hard, and I know when I've got to then ease back. And I think that it's important that we understand we can probably handle short periods of stress or higher levels of stress than normal, as long as we know when that's going to come to an end.
Yeah.
If it looks like it's just an ongoing thing and there's no end in sight, then that's where it can get a bit overwhelming. So yeah, it's easy enough to sit here and say, yeah, just listen to people around you and just go and speak to somebody if you're feeling stressed, or take some relaxation or yoga classes to try and release some of that tension. But when it's you that's suffering, it's a lot harder to actually to acknowledge that and to do it. So
yeah, because you just think you've got to paddle harder to get out of it.
Yeah, exactly. So whereas actually we'd get a lot more done and be more productive if we just took a step back, like we were saying earlier, and just give ourselves a bit of a break. That's why holidays are so important as well, to make sure that we're taking that time out and away from the environment, which has a great de-stressing effect.
Is there an optimum sort of place that we're looking for in terms of happiness and balance and being as least stressed as possible? Because as you said, there's always going to be an element of stress in our life. Is it about sort of taking ourselves back to being 9, 10, 11 without any cares in the world, in terms of recognising the energy levels that we should be enjoying rather than are missing?
Yeah, I think it would be great if we could go back to say the 1950s, where that was perhaps there was a real balance there.
But then there was rationing.
But well,
there were challenges.
Yeah, that's true as well. But certainly when we're looking at our lives now, there's always a rush to be more and to have more. And so the 35, 30, 40 hours a week that perhaps we used to work for most people, that's just going to be, you'll do that by Wednesday, and then you've got another 2 full days of 10, 12-hour days to go as well. And so we tend to push ourselves harder and expect more of ourselves, I think, as well. And
we're tough taskmasters, aren't we?
Yeah, but that then takes time from other things that we would do, so spending time with family and friends, and relaxing, in our homes and so on, and we just end up working, and there's only 24 hours in a day, so if we're going to keep on doing all the other things, then the other thing that can go is sleep.
Yeah. It's a Scandinavian way, isn't it, of 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours, I think. 8 hours work, 8 hours play, and 8 hours sleep.
Yeah. Well, that's ideal. In fact, if you look at nations...
But here we all roll our eyes and go, gosh, wouldn't that be nice?
Probably, yeah. Absolutely.
Rhiannon, before we let you go, in terms of maybe pursuing acupuncture as a way of monitoring stress, is it something that you would advise people undertake alone or in conjunction with other methods?
Well, acupuncture can be taken alone and work very well, but there's a lot of other stuff around acupuncture. I mean, your acupuncturist can offer you kind of lifestyle tips, other things about eating slightly differently, or perhaps doing more exercise, as George advocates. It's kind of a whole lifestyle package. So the needles are one thing, but we add lots of other things in our discussions in the treatment room as well.
So it's much more than just the needles.
Absolutely, yes.
That's good to know. Rhiannon, lovely talking to you this afternoon.
You.
Thanks for joining us. Rhiannon Griffiths from Tame. And George, again, thank you for coming in. And I think it's really interesting, because I'd never actually considered the challenge, the tummy, the spare tyre thing in terms of weight loss. That is where you can show your stress. It's not just about clenched knuckles and tight jawlines. Take a look at your midriff as well. Yeah. George, again, thank you very much. If people would like to find out more about your bootcamp training and the various other programs, you've got your website too?
Just tamebootcamp.co.uk, or just go to my Facebook page, Coach George Anderson.
And he's always on our Facebook page too, so you won't find any problem tracking him down. Good to talk to you again, George. Thank you.
Thanks, Jack.
This is BBC
Radio Oxford. I like to know the latest Oxfordshire news.
I like to see the weather forecast for Oxfordshire.
I like to keep up to date with Oxfordshire sport.
To watch the latest BBC Oxford news and Inside Out.
To hear about Oxfordshire's unsigned bands.
See the latest travel news as it happens.
And the great thing is,
it's all in one place.
Everything you need for Oxfordshire, all in one place. Online at bbc.co.uk/Oxford.
BBC Radio Oxford.
Be part of it.